Hey guys, Mr. L here to give you your private crash course or refresher course on how to multiply um, numbers with decimals in them. Just a couple of rules to live by. You do not need to line up the factors by the decimal. You do with adding and subtracting, but not with multiplication. Instead, just place the number with more digits on top. And what I mean by that is not the number that is the biggest number. And I know you're probably thinking, well, typically the number with more digits is the bigger number, but not when working with decimals. You could have a number that is in the ones place be 0 and have digits going all the way to the 10,000s place. And that is a very small number. That number is still less than 1. But because it has so many digits, it will probably be the number that goes on top. And then after that, you just line up the other number underneath at the right. And then we're just going to multiply using our standard algorithm that we all learned way back a million years ago. So this will make more sense once we dive into some example problems. So 5.63 times 3.7. 5.63 has 3 digits, 3.7 has 2, so 5.63 goes on top. And then we just get started with a multiplication problem. We're going to forget about the decimals for now, but I promise you we'll come back to them. So 3 times 7 is 21, carry the 2. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 2 is 44, and then we're going to carry that 4. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39. And now we just multiply it in the ones place. Now we're going to move over to what looks like the tens place. I know there's decimals there, and you're saying it's not really the tens place. But remember, we're not really focusing on the decimals just yet. So first we put in our placeholder so we don't make any mistakes. And I'm also going to cross out my numbers that I added up there so I also don't get confused. So then, without further ado, let's keep going. 3 times 3 is 9. And then 3 times 6 is 18, carry the 1. And 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. And then, of course, our last step is just to add. So we have 1 plus 0 is 1. 4 plus 9 is 13, and we're going to carry the 1. 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 1 is 18. And carry that one. 3 plus 6 plus 1 is 10. Carry the 1, and we have 2. Fantastic. So now we have made our number. We've added everything up correctly. We've checked our math because we're good students in Mr. L's class. And we are now going to show you, I'm going to show you what to do with these decimals. So when we look at decimals, we look at where they've moved from where they originally started. So if there was no decimal here, and this number read 563, there would be a decimal right here. And that decimal would just be sort of the divider between the ones place and the tens place, or the dollar and then the cents. And we're going to count how many spaces this decimal has moved. So it's moved over 2 spaces. 1, 2. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. It's moved over 1 space. And then we're going to add those together to figure out where our decimal should go. 3. So 2 plus 1 is 3. I can even draw a little arrow like that. So that's how many place values over we are going to count and sort of move our decimal. We have 1, 2, 3. And our decimal should go here, giving us the number 20 and 831 thousandths. And that's where our decimal goes. I even made a little green dot in my PowerPoint that's been covered up. Let's do one more problem. So here's another problem. We have 0.53 times 2.618. 2.618 has more digits, so it's going to go on top. And then underneath, I'm going to put that 0.53. Again, I'm going to treat this as a regular multiplication problem. I'm not even going to pay attention to those decimals at the moment. So 8 times 3 is 24. Carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. And 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Now we're going to add our 0 as our placeholder and get rid of our math upstairs, and then move over to the 10th place. So 5 times 8 is 40. Have a 0 there, carry a 4. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 4 is 9. 6 times 5 is 30. So we'll put a 0, carry the 3. And 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3 is 13. Now we have one more row to go, and it might seem tedious, but I am definitely going to show you the math on how to do it. Even though there's a 0 in that place value, everything, just for the sake of this example, I'm just going to keep it consistent. So 0 times 8 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 6 is 0, 0 times 2 is also 0. So now we do all of our adding up. 4, we got 5, this one should be 17, carry the 1, that should be 8, 3, and 1. Now, the same strategy we used in the first problem to figure out where our decimal should go. So over here is where our decimal started. Let's get my pen out, here we go. And I'm going to count how many places it went over. 1, 2, 3. So that decimal went over 3 places. The next one, decimal started over here. We're going to count 1, 2. It went over 2 places. I'm going to add together the decimals and how much they moved, giving us 5. It went over 5 places. And now, whoa, I just lost my PowerPoint. Come back. Here we are. We're going to count from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is where our decimal is going to end up. And there it is.